Hello, hello. Wow, I was grooving to that intro music. If you were to let me know in the comments, I already saw Robin was in there saying, let's see here, cool tunes. Thank you, Robin. You know what? I'm gonna use my Saturdays to also be a part-time DJ. What do you think? I'll start laying down some tunes for you guys. Welcome, welcome. My name is Joshua Harrell. If we have not met, and you are watching Travel Marketeering live. So whether you're joining us live or you're watching this on the replay, all are welcome, and we're so glad that you decided to join us today for today's session. Today, we're going to talk about email marketing. We talk about email marketing a lot. I'm going to talk about emails for you to send to connect with your clients. So we've talked about newsletters before. I'll incorporate some talk about newsletters, but I'm really talking about the types of communications, whether you're automating them or they're one-to-one emails, just to get you in the frame of mind. Because what is travel marketeering? It is marketing and selling your products and services through systems. So I love to give you ways that you can create structure around how you are branding your business, your brand strategy, as well as the marketing tactics that you employ. So that's what we're talking about today. If you are joining live, please, no matter where you're watching this, because we're broadcasting on all the channels right now. So you could be anywhere watching this, but wherever you are, jump into the comments and ask questions about this topic. Share some experience because while I can talk about travel marketing all day long, it's really some of your practical questions around every topic where we see the other members of the audience watching and getting inspired. I mean, I hope you get inspired by me, but I'm just saying I love your real world applications and those questions. So please feel free to ask questions all throughout. And if you are new here, and some of you are, but if you are new here, something that we do here at Travel Marketeering is if we are congratulating somebody or we are feeling some good travel marketeering, we just put a TM in the chat for travel marketeering. That is like our version of amen. Okay. So you can drop a TM whenever you're feeling the vibe of marketing, inspiration, whatever, because at the end of the day, I just want you to leave today's session with some aha moments, some golden nuggets of wisdom, some jewels for your crown. Just, I want you to be inspired. All right. We're going to pop over to the chat and see what's going on there. Let's see here. Oh, I see Kristen from South Florida. She has joined. Happy Saturday and TM. TM back at you, Kristen. Let's see. Connie. Hi from Florida. Good to see you, Connie. Thank you for coming back. And Connie's adding a TM. TM back at you. Let's see. Robin TM from Robin Wing Travel in New Hampshire. Good to see you here. Uh, let's see. So, Kristen, I knew who you were. I saw your picture. She said she accidentally joined from her agency page. No worries there. Rocky's joining us. TM back at you, Rocky. Good to see you. Scott TM. Oh, it's so awesome to see you guys here and you guys just having a chat amongst yourselves. I love it. I love it. Now, if you have to leave for whatever reason, please go over and join our not our Facebook, our YouTube page. Just search for World Via Travel Network. You can find the replays and the upcoming shows from Travel Marketeering, as well as loads of other content, including our Laura's Elevate Your Agency sessions. Those happen weekly. Those are on Thursday evenings, East Coast time. If you haven't joined those, please do, because she incorporates travel marketeering into those sessions, but she also talks about agency operations, sales techniques, This is someone who has been in the travel industry for donkey's years, and you want some of her experience and knowledge working for you. So if you haven't joined that, please check it out. You can watch those shows on YouTube. All right, guys, oh, I should do one more reminder. If you have not joined our Facebook group, please do. It is growing. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if you have not joined, go to Facebook, search Travel Marketeers, and request to join our private Facebook group. Now, this group is where you're going to get sometimes I'll work on a handout that I'll make available there to you, or somebody on our team is working on some cool things that they might give you a little advanced notice of that. And also, you can share stories around your travel marketing, around your business there in the Facebook group. Love to have you there. Love to have you contributing because, like I said, really the magic happens with what you guys share with each other. So, all right, let's tuck in. Okay. See, I'm producing this show solo. It's kind of like a radio show where it's like midnight. What was it? If you're of a certain age, there was WKRP in Cincinnati, and Venus was his last name Flytrap. He was the nighttime disc jockey. That's what I feel like right now. Anyway, whatever it takes to get through the day, right? Okay, let's see here. I am going to share my screen here. All right. I hope you guys can see that okay. And I hope you guys can hear me all right. Like I said, throughout the session, please feel free to ask questions. I'm going to talk a little bit and I'll go over to comments and check out what's going on there. But today we are talking about how to connect with your clients through email marketing. Like I said, we talk about a lot, there's a lot of themes and what I talk about on these Saturday sessions. We're going to talk about segmenting your audience. We're going to talk about good copy, the words that sell. We're going to talk about timing and expectations as well. So we're going to talk about a little bit of everything, but you jumping in and asking questions always helpful. And Connie, thank you. Yes, WKRP was a great show. Was that baby? If you care to wonder whatever became of me. I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, Cincinnati, WKRP. Wow. You weren't expecting that, were you? Maybe you were. I don't know. All right, let's go over here. So let's first talk about making that first connection. Now, I've got an example over to the side of a lovely intro email that this I don't want you to get too hung up on the style and the design of your email. I'm always going to lead with content comes first. The story that you tell comes first. So if you are not sending an email when somebody joins your email list, if you just most email service providers have a generic confirmation email when someone has successfully subscribed to an email, that's great. I mean, you want to make sure that that they're aware that they have signed up for an email. But this is a great opportunity for you to send that first impression of you. And it might be a second impression because in order for them to sign up for your email, they've got an impression of you and that made them sign up. So they probably came from your website, or maybe you put the link on your social media. Whatever it is, don't assume that they know your story. So you want to send a first introduction email that highlights your expertise, especially where you can highlight your expertise and attach it to your destinations, because that oftentimes they haven't subscribed to your email. They're not there yet, but something about where they wanted to go on holiday is how they came across you. So I'd like to encourage you, whether you do an automated email where it goes whenever someone when somebody signs up to your email list, or it's just an automated email if they've submitted an inquiry, right? Just anytime you're sending that first email, make that good make that a good showcase of your story, who you are. So highlight your expertise, highlight your destinations, and include your unique proposition as a travel advisor. Now, if you've joined me before, I talk about your unique your value proposition, right? I've talked about it before, but I it doesn't hurt to talk about it again. Okay, so this is something that I don't know that everybody truly gets, that your what you know, so if you're talking to another advisor or you're talking to me, you know what you wanna bring to the table. Maybe you've got, a lot of experience in, selling meetings and events and working meetings events. Maybe you did that as your corporate gig for a long time, and now you're bringing it to, as your own business. Maybe that's your story, or maybe you've been to the Galapagos 15 times. So that's what you bring to the table, or maybe you travel really well with your family. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, she is so amazing when she travels with her family. She doesn't get stressed out, and every family member seems to have a grand time," right? So whatever it is that made you start this journey, and I know everybody I meet, they always talk about, "Well, I want to sell this because of this, and because I think I would be really good at this." You wanna craft that into your value proposition, and you wanna present that on your websites, through social media. You wanna communicate that, and you know me, it's all about show, don't tell. So it isn't just about saying, it's about telling the stories, showcasing images, having videos that show that you are the expert in your particular niche, what you're focused on. I want to make sure every touch point that there is that through line of your what you bring to the table, what makes you different. And that should be incorporated in this email newsletter, because I want to remind you, and a lot of times we don't think about email marketing as it pertains to us as a consumer. But that email, and I'm sure you've done it before, you get an email from a company and somehow it connects with where you're at right now. Maybe you and your magnificent other were just talking about this last week. What do you well, I'm gonna assume you probably do this. I've done it many times. You get that email and you send it on. You send it to your magnificent other. You send it to your mama. You send it to your sister. You are getting the word out because something resonated with you in that message. So don't always assume that these communications are going to sit in someone's inbox and only be viewed by them. So you always wanna make sure that you're showcasing your value proposition, and it doesn't have to be like writing your mission statement on every email. It's not that. It's about, if I'm known for travel, specifically family travel, there needs to be something in that first email that shows that that is your expertise. So not only the destinations, not only the expertise, but why why you? Why you? And you know why you. You absolutely know why you. So just make sure that we get that in there. All right, moving on. So, like I said, this can be an email that is a part of your email service provider. And just so you know, the terminology doesn't really matter, but it's called ESP, email service providers. So those are the ones, the tools like MailChimp, or if you're a member of WorldVia, you get Email Plus as a part of your membership. Those are the tools that you use for broadcast emails. So those are the ones that you make all pretty. You put a picture in, just like this example I've got to the left here. Um, So those are those emails, but I don't want you to get hung up on an email service provider. If you don't have one yet, or you're still in those early stages where you're going to be doing these one to one in Outlook or Gmail, that is perfectly fine, and it doesn't have to be fancy. You just need to make sure that the copy, the words that sell, the text that you put in the email are conveying your value proposition, your destinations, your expertise. You want to make sure that that is present, whether it's a one-to-one email or it's a broadcast email. Now, the reason why hey, I want everybody to have broadcast emails. Please, please have broadcast emails. But I wanna be realistic about this because I know that people get really, really hung up on designing an email, and the designing of that email with those, the ESPs, sometimes that becomes just another to do on your list, and I don't want you to fall victim to that trap. I want you to know that whatever email you send is a beautiful thing. So just send the email, right? All right. So my next point on making that first connection, and this is one that I really had to think about. So I'm gonna contradict myself a little bit, but I want to give you a little background on this. So timing is everything. There was a study done, I want to say in 2017 is when I saw this, and responding to a lead within the first hour of them submitting that inquiry. So I'm thinking online inquiry, the chances of you closing that deal is tremendously high. After the hour, it starts, it declines really fast. And I find it fascinating because some of these inquiries will come in at 12:30 in the morning, right? And you're not going to be able to get to that. But in on average, looking at leads coming in and measuring it, the way that they do, the people who are measuring these things do, it's this within an hour is where your the sweet spot is. So when an inquiry comes in, you want to be on it, and that could be where you have an automatic responder when somebody submits an inquiry, which is beautiful. Most of the time, the person receiving the email can tell that it is, an automated email, so, it still gives them confirmation, security, confidence that it did their inquiry came in, and within that response, that automated response, give them an estimation of time. Tell them you'll get back to them, as quickly as possible within the next business day, something like that, whatever works best for you, so they know, so that their expectations have been set, and they're not unrealistic, and you're not disappointing them before you even get started, right? So be really transparent with these communications. But that automated confirmation is a beautiful thing. Now, what I have seen extremely successful with many advisors is the inquiry comes in wherever they are. They could be watching House of Dragons on their couch, or they could be at a baseball game, or as my friend Alan would do, in the middle of the Magic Kingdom. Uh, just respond to them with a personal message. If you got their mobile number, and you can text them, just say, hey, it's Joshua. I just saw your inquiry come through. I will be back in my office tomorrow morning, and I will take a look at it and get right back to you. That right there is such a little thing, because you probably did see that inquiry come in. You're like, yeah, score. I got that inquiry. It's a beautiful thing, right? You're really happy. So you looked at it, but you also don't want to set the expectation that you're just available, whenever, even on your off time. I mean, there's a lot of psychology that goes into this, and believe me, I know, because so many advisors have shared what they think about. But that little text message, or it could be an email message that's sent, that is short, is brief, to the point, but just acknowledges that it has been received, and you tell them exactly when you're gonna get back to them. That right there gives people confidence, and it also shows a level of high touch that, I know without a doubt you're gonna deliver that to your clients, and that's the kind of stuff, it's little cues that I can't even say the word, subconsciously. They start to give those good vibes like, "Oh, wow, okay. Hey, I'm gonna talk to them tomorrow, or I'll hear back from them tomorrow. Beautiful." Or, "Hey, I'm gonna be in the air, and I won't be able to get back to you tomorrow. I'm coming back from Barbados, and but I you're the first person I'm gonna call." Uh, okay, thank you. You've now signaled I am your priority. Oh, and by the way, you travel. Uh, what are these are some good signals I'd be picking up. Rocky said, "Boom, that's a great idea. Guess that's my nugget for the day." Okay, Rocky, maybe I have more to give you. Thank you, Rocky. I really appreciate it. So I have some timing on this in my presentation, and I say send within 24 hours of initial inquiry. Um, so my caveat there is I would have some automated a confirmation when somebody submits an inquiry. So whatever program you're using or CRM you're using, I know you can. I'm quite confident you can attach a confirmation email, so it gives them the confidence to know that it did go through, and they don't try to submit it again because they're concerned. You do want to attach that to it, but I think that first deep dive, not necessarily a consultation that you might have, but that, hey, I looked at your inquiry, give them some questions that you might have, or invite them to schedule a time to speak. Make sure that that happens within 24 hours. And I've even seen too, just as a side note, I've seen people say, uh, I I'm with my family. It is a holiday weekend. I'm so glad that you're thinking about your holiday. I wanna take care of you, but I am spending time with my family. But I will get back to you on Monday for sure, or Tuesday, whatever it is, right? And that, even though that inquiry might come through on a Saturday, and now you're telling me it's going to be a few days before I hear back from you. Think about how real you were. Who is gonna argue with you in your family time? That is just good peopling, okay? So, they're small things, they're small moments of truth that you can work into your communication and your communication style that signals that uh, you're good people. You're good people, and that really works. Now, the opposite side of that is if you can never get back to me because you say you're so busy. Okay, that is a big that is not gonna work, okay? So, be very aware of when you're signaling that you're so busy, because it does not, even if the person sounds like they understand, they don't really, and I guarantee you it will backfire, at some point. Now you could always say, "Oh gosh, so many people are wanting to plan vacations right now. It's a beautiful thing, but I'm working on this, I'm working on that, but gosh, it's so much fun." So you're saying maybe, my response time is not as fast as possible, but just don't say busy. Just don't say busy, or I've got a backlog of emails or something like that. You're all about fun and grace, and you handle things. Busy sounds like that team member that you work with that can never get anything done. So anyway, I maybe you feel me and you can send me a TM for that, but I didn't mean to preach on that. It's so interesting that we forget uh, that especially through text messages and emails or quick phone calls, the words that we say are being received, and we want to make sure that we minimize a negative impression of what we do. Connie, thank you for the TM. I appreciate that. um, the other thing I wanted to say is on referrals. So when somebody contacts you and says, "Oh, I know somebody who blah 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 wants to go here, knows that you have that you're good at this, whatever it is," right? So one of your clients, one of your friends refers somebody in. Now, I love it when somebody comes to my website and says, "Oh, Kristen referred me to you." I like that versus somebody calling me and say, "Hey, you call this person," because you you don't know where they are in the journey. But don't get me wrong, I'd make sure I followed up. So make sure that those don't, especially if you get some kind of an indication that it's not an immediate thing, so you'll get to it when you can get to it. I put make sure you follow up within 2 to 3 days for best engagement, and that's generally the rule, but I'm gonna go back to that 1 hour thing. If Kristen contacted me and said, "Hey, I've got Rocky over here that wants this, that, and the other," and I said that you'd be perfect for it, I'm calling Rocky right away. I wanna make sure even if I get his voicemail, I don't care. I want him to know that I'm here because that's the kind of service that I would be giving as his travel advisor. So, I was very generous with these times, and I thought maybe I should change it, but it also depends on where you're at with your agency. You could be I don't wanna say this, but you could be uber busy, right? So, maybe working on new client business, or new business is something that, you have to really segment out your time in order to take care of it. Now, I will say if you are having, uh delays based on your bandwidth, delays in response time, for new business because of how much business you currently have on the books. I'd really evaluate first, I'd always look at my own processes. Like, what am I doing right now that might be causing a little, a backlog, and maybe it's consistently causing me a backlog, so maybe I would change the process a little bit, uh, but then also, if it is like, if I feel like I'm running things the way I want to run them, then it might be time for me to look at, do I bring someone on maybe as a freelance person, just to do some of those initial conversations or even coordinate. This is a great spot for a virtual assistant to coordinate some of those meetings. So, maybe review the inquiry form, see if there's any gaps in the information they gave, and then kind of talk about the services that you offer, just to kind of give them a consultation without it being really your time and your expertise. I have seen this happen before, and if you've experienced this, let me know. But I have seen someone put a virtual assistant in the follow-up, to inquiries coming in, and what that person did was just verify information, right? And look at the calendar and find a time that would work, even though there's scheduling links to do that. Believe me, I'm a big fan of Calendly. But that initial, almost like a sales development rep, also known as an SDR, that initial conversation uh, can elevate the future customers. It can elevate their vision of you, their impression of you, which it's an interesting psychological thing that happens there. And you might have done it yourself. You might have filled out a form for a tool that maybe you were looking into, and you got a call back from someone who was not really the salesperson or the account manager, but they told you what to expect and what are some of the things that they should know, and maybe a little bit about the company, so they can go over some of the basics. But that right there can help you get those inquiries responded to by a human, right? By a human, and can potentially set you up for success when you get on the line. So I know it's not for everybody, not everybody's there, but I would really look. I've talked to many advisors who are slammed, and that's a beautiful thing, right? They're slammed, but they're slammed and they admit that they either have to shut off their new business stream, or they're having to have people hold until they can get to them. Um, and I know it becomes another stressor. Not only do you have the stressor of being able to deliver your service, but you have the stressor that you can't show up for these new people that could potentially be massive revenue for you. So I get it. There's a lot at play. There's a lot at play, but I just wanted to plant that seed because you do want to be able to respond to people quickly. Now, in that first connection communication, you want to invite them to schedule a consultation, and that like I said, that could be, using a scheduling link like Calendly, and I'm over pronouncing that just so if you don't know that tool, it's, Calendly.com. It is, an app that will connect up to your calendar, and you can set up a meeting type. In fact, the tool is free for one meeting type, and then you get other bells and whistles and the ability to have other scheduling links if you subscribe to the app. But it connects up to one meeting event, which is what most of us need, is just that one, and then it allows someone to schedule time with you when you are available. It checks your availability. And that can be a Teams or a Zoom call, or it can be an old fashioned audio call, right? But that allows them to take action and schedule time with you, which I love that because I wish my doctor would do that. I wish my dentist would do that. Instead, I have to call during business hours, and that stresses me out because that's not when I'm thinking about these things. So you might have a couple lying in bed watching Family Guy, and they're like, "Oh, we really need to get on that vacation that we want to put together," right? Um, Give them the opportunity to schedule that time, and I people put it on their website. I love that, but also in this first communication, you want to move this along. And maybe in this first communication, maybe they're not ready to move it along, but if they have that link to schedule time with you, they know it's there. They might save it so they can come back to it. Or what I love about the scheduling link is maybe I'm not ready to talk about it this week or next, but a month from now I am. And if you've set up that meeting link in the way that I can schedule in the future, then I'm going to go ahead and put that on my calendar. Now, I have it on my calendar that I'm going to take care of it. And how many of you are supposed to take care of something on your honey-do list and it requires some outreach and you just keep putting it off? But if you schedule it, then you know what? This task is in progress. So I'm just saying, I wish I could. Maybe I should schedule time to take the garbage out so I don't get it in the neck that I haven't taken out the garbage. At least it shows your magnificent other that you're working on it, right? So have a call to action, and it could even be just especially one-to-one emails, this works really well. It could just be, when when someone has filled out the form, however they're getting this first email, you can ask within the email. You can say, "Hey, you could schedule time with me," or you can text me. That maybe that's something that you want to incorporate as a way for people to communicate with you. And by the by, I would highly recommend it. People are moving away from email in terms of how they're conducting business with each other. So adding the ability to text you, I think you'll find will open up a little. It'll stir up more communication. So, I mean, maybe that's the thing that you do, but you might also ask in this first communication, let me know what kinds of vacations you take, who travels with you, where have you been in the past? This helps you build that profile of your audience, so you can better serve them and better market to them. So that first connection, super important, and I love this. I see you, Robin. She said, "Uber busy would be a great place to be." I Yes, I agree with you, Robin. And the reason why I share that comment about if you're in a place where you're uber busy and it's delaying your response time to new inquiries is because I have honestly heard it. I have heard it from, I would say more than a handful of advisors within our network, and when they say it, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why no, you wanna keep the pipeline going, because it's like feast or famine, right?" But I get it. If you're a solopreneur and you are everything, then what are you gonna do? Are you going to, devote your attention to future business, or are you gonna devote it to the business that you have? So, I know it's a tough choice, but I also can hear it in their voice, and I can see it in their face that they don't want to, be slow to respond. They don't wanna be slow to respond. So, uber busy is a fantastic place to be, but just know, there's still some challenges with it, and, Robin, I hope in a year from now, not to curse you at all, but I hope that you have so much business that you tell me that you are uber busy, and I wanna know how you feel at that point. So, we're gonna manifest that. It's not a curse, it's just I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it in my bones with you. Oh, and another thing, talking about, people so busy that they can't respond to inquiries. I know an advisor who is so popular through organic search. She has really built up profiles and her online presence to where she is known for, Europe. Let's just say Europe. She has to turn off her lead channels and say, "Hey, I'm no longer taking new clients." Okay? Which I know your head is it's just exploded and it's now on the floor. You're like, "That is not a thing. You don't do that." But for her, with her family life and her book of business, she can't take on more business. So she has to say this, and just turn off leads. They can't come in, right? Now, what I believe has happened, and I know her very well, uh, and I've watched her evolve in her brand strategy, and I think she's doing some really, really cool things. Um, I think because this goes back to the psychology of using an SDR to respond to your first inquiries. I think because she said she's not taking on new clients, that has made her more in demand. Yeah. That is my feeling about it, and I think she would probably agree with me. So, anyway, that is neither here nor there, but I wanna give you that, as a nugget. Alright, I see you guys, I love that, Kristen said, to Robin, gave her an emoji of crying tears, and that's because Robin said, "Great curse, thank you." Yeah, we gotta come up with something else, like, it can't be I know I give you guys, words of warning sometimes that is also paired with a little bit of a blessing, so I don't know, that there's we gotta come up with another name, not a curse. Let's see here, just checking the, oh, I'm gonna come back to, Rocky jumped in about responding to clients and said, "I've been struggling with how to respond while away from the office and super helpful." So, Rocky, I think because I go back to this after I've been talking. I think you're talking about just that quick response to say, "Hey, I'm not available right now. I'm not at my desk, but you are number 1 on my list. So I hope that helps you. And, I do think sometimes I've said this before, when you lead with your brand, you lead with your company, specifically when you're a solopreneur and you are the brand, you create all these systems, these corporate systems like, "Oh, I only respond between 9 to 5," or "It has to be when I'm sitting at my desk." There's little things that I know we do. Um, but at the end of the day, people buy from people, not from companies. So, you being a real person saying, I cannot wait to talk to you about your Alaska trip with your grandma. That sounds fantastic. And I have been so many times. Like you could do, think about it. You're at the T-ball game, and you're just like, "Meh, I'm so excited to talk to you. I will look everything over in the morning, and you'll be the first person I call." That just feels good. And contrary to common belief, that is actually one of the best demonstrations of your brand, because I know that's the service that you would provide. Yeah. So, let's see here. Oh, I've got CNC Travel Factory. She said, you need to sing a lot more. Oh, thank you. Thank you. My album drops in a few weeks. Thank you very much for that. I do love singing. Just so you know, I will sing in the most awkward situations. I will sing in a board meeting. There is something about I don't like musicals. I don't. I know people are just shocked. I don't like musicals, but I want to live my life like it's a musical. Like all of a sudden I'm just gonna break out in song. Yeah, and it does happen. Let's see. Robin's got a question. Let me jump into this. Robin said, I have a great lead magnet. So, that's, where you've got something that you're offering in exchange for contact information. That could be a downloadable, that could be schedule a strategy session, but the lead magnet is how to, like a magnet, suck those leads in so you can get, their contact information. So she's saying, "I have got a great lead magnet, but not sure where, how to make it work." Robin, that's not a difficult question. It's just difficult because it's very broad, so I'm not sure what you're looking for here. If you've got a great lead magnet, I would make sure that you have it on your website, and when you're asking how, so it makes me think that what I would probably do is attach it to, an email subscription, webhook in order to, if you're wanting people to subscribe to your emails, essentially become a lead of yours, attach it to that sign up form. So, you know, where people say, "Sign up to get my newsletter," you say, "Sign up for my, downloadable," or whatever it is. Um, that is, technically, that is how I would do it. Um, the other way you could do it is have the magnet, be attached to a confirmation, email to a form. So you embed a PDF into a confirmation email once somebody submits an inquiry, through a form. So, those and the form one I like to use when I am also going to use that in social media posts. So I'll have the link to that form, that maybe has a picture of the downloadable, whatever it is that is your magnet. So I'll incorporate, that in my social media, so I'm pointing them to that form at all times. But I've used it many times for an ebook. If you go to worldviatravelnetwork.com right now, at the very top, there's a bar that, has you download my ebook on how to craft your travel brand. Now, that's an excellent ebook. If you haven't gotten it, please go get it, because I put everything that I always think about for creating brands, logos, things like that. So I believe me, I use that, and even I've given that to my team to say, this is how I evaluate brands, and this is how I build brands. So love that book. But that is attached to, an email subscription, mechanism. So it's popping up and asking you for your name and email address, and then the confirmation email is the delivery with a link to the PDF that you can download. Yeah. So, I think that, answers your questions, 'cause, she said, "Yes, how to send the download to the person." Yeah, I would attach that to the confirmation email, and it's very easy to, store a PDF, if that's what you've got built, on, Google Drive, and then have a link that is shared to anybody with the link, and then that be the what you put within that confirmation email. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Robin, you're asking, does Worldvia provide anything like that? Within Email Plus, you've got that ability to build those either landing pages or embed hooks onto your website. So it's essentially a form that you're creating within Email Plus, and then you attach the confirmation email to that. But I if you do need help with that, definitely talk to our member success team, okay? Because they'll be able to sort you out. If you haven't signed up for it yet, make sure you sign up for it, and you'll see they've got forms all over the place. All right, moving right along, guys. Keep the questions coming. Robin, I appreciate you taking time to ask the questions that are important to you, and everybody who's watching this live. Hey, I'm all yours, but we are talking about emails. So we're not talking about logos right now. Believe me, we talk about logos a lot. So just try to keep it within the frame of what we're talking about today, so everybody can benefit if they're tuning in for that. All right, Robin, thank you. Yeah, happy to help. All right, let's move on over. Boop, doop, doop. Okay. So let's talk about check-in emails. So we did your first response email. So check-in emails are ones that you want to put in place for checking in on those clients or people who are your leads. Now, I look at this in two camps. So one camp is your future customers. So you have their email, they have communicated with you, or they've indicated that they're interested in a newsletter. So you can create within your email service provider, whether that's Email Plus, like I was talking about, Robin, or it could be MailChimp. There's loads of them out there. But just so you know, my favorite first is Email Plus, not just because we partnered and made that happen. Uh, but it is truly the best email platform I've ever used, and I've used it for a very, very long time. But MailChimp is another one that I love, 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 and I've used that for, I feel like it's been nearly 20 years. So I've had a lot of experience in both, and those are my favorites. So that's my personal recommendation. So if you're creating a check-in for future clients, those to me are your automated emails. Those are you can follow this schedule that I'm giving you here, and just make it make sense, evergreen, for whomever might receive these emails. But you can also do these as one-to-one emails. So I create a task in your CRM to check in with somebody. Essentially, every 3 months is what I've built out here. You might want to play with the timeline, but I have felt like when I create my system for follow-ups, like I said, going back to travel marketeering being creating systems, sometimes, it seems like, "Oh, that's gonna be too many times," but occasionally, I don't do the thing right when I said I was gonna do it. So there's kind of an organic shift in flow, so it doesn't feel so regimented. But all in all, without that structure, it would get pretty loosey goosey. So this is what I recommend. So I recommend 3 months send a just a casual check in with just some personal travel suggestions, based on what you know about them. Maybe what they have done before, or what they have said to you that they're interested, what they've shared with you that they would be interested in. So this, especially on a one-to-one email, this one is a great way to stir things up, and again, just peel back the curtain and say, "Oh, look in here. Look who I am. Look at remember me." I think that's a beautiful thing. I also love tying that to uh like a happy new year message, or a happy 4th of July message. I those because those fall about 6 months apart, right? I love those 2 holidays because they're not about any religious beliefs or anything like that. They're calendar days that as Americans, we all know, we might not do fireworks for either one, but they are both acceptable for fireworks. I'm just saying. I don't know why I've always gravitated towards those 2 days, and I guess it's because of fireworks. I don't know. Anyway, I love those. So again, that might not fall on the 3-month thing, but that's a great time for those types of messages. I hope you have a grand 4th of July. Thinking about you, and the fact that you guys wanted to go to Alaska. It's still time to do this, right? It's still time to do this. It's just anything like that, as it's a personal message. It you're acknowledging something that you both are going through. You're about to celebrate 4th of July, and then it feels different. It hits different. Kristen just said, "I need." Let's see. Hold on a second. I need to screenshot this timeline. Would you recommend adding something in the subject header that indicates how many emails will be sent? Recently, I've noticed some companies do that. One of four, things like that. Kristen, that is a great question, and I'm so glad that you did ask me that because I am a huge, huge fan of doing that 1 of 15, 1 of 4, 2 of 4, whatever it is, for the number of emails that you're gonna get. Here's where I would use this. I would not use this in your database, the where you are broadcasting emails from, because you somebody could be in your email list for 10 years. So you're not really going to use that there. What I love using that for is if you've created an email sequence that someone is signing up for, that there's so many emails that are gonna be coming, like, maybe they come weekly, or maybe there's 2 I 2 every week or something like that, but you've set it as there's a series that you're subscribing to. I think that's great, and you're referring to it as this series. So, I've seen it, for people who are I I will say a lot of theme park travel, I've seen this. So sign up for my masterclass series of emails on how you can visit the theme park with your family and everybody will have a grand time, okay? And then it's 7 emails that you're gonna get, that's all about this. Now, I would say, hey, sign up for our series of emails, 7 in total, about this, and then continue to receive my email, my inbox goodness, something like that. You want to indicate that if you've got them in your email list, you will be emailing them beyond that. But if you're marketing this series, then I think that that's a beautiful thing, and it also helps when maybe they get the first email and then they get the third email, but then they're trying to look for number 2. So I do like that, because then I know what I'm looking for, especially if you're referencing something that I missed because I came out of the series. I think that's a beautiful thing, but I wouldn't do that for just your overall broadcast emails. I think that that's narrowing it too much. I've also seen it with welcome series. So you signed up for my newsletter, and I send you 4 emails for success at whatever. That right there is is a good one to do, like, to have that be the thing that you're gonna take them through. Yeah. I just saw Robin pop in that she distracted me with her sound. She said, "That's a lead magnet, hence my question, or point to your subject." Yes, that you're right, that is a lead magnet. So yes. Let's see, Kristen said, "Thank you, helpful information. Now I need to figure out how to compartmentalize series emails." Yeah, and you know what, Kristen? Don't overthink it. I know that that's easy for me to say, but don't overthink it because we get caught up in the logistics of, I wanna set up this system, and that seems like I'm definitely gonna contradict myself. I wanna set up the system to deliver these series, but I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to get that series off the ground. Go, 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 go. Just speed towards go. Figure out as you go along because chances are you're not going to have so much traffic come through a lead magnet. This goes for you, Robin, as well. You're not going to have so much traffic in those early days that you can't even manage it one to one. Like that right there would be how I would get started. I could iron out the kinks by doing it one to one, and then when I set it up in my ESP, my email service provider, then I'll have already ironed out some kinks there. So I would get the content out, and that would be the thing that I would start with always, always, always. All right, I'm going to get back to my list here. Um, all right. So after 3 months, so another 3 months go by, 6 months, offer an exclusive deal or an incentive to encourage rebooking. So this is now speaking to somebody who has booked with you before. And I love this because we put out, or we should be putting out, promotional emails about different deals and things like that all the time. But when you're doing this one-to-one email based on someone's past, interests and purchases and things like that, you have the ability to curate which promotion you think they should buy. So, essentially, you're saying, "Hey, I know you didn't ask me, but here's what I think you you need to take advantage of right now based on what I know about you." And you know what? It's okay to make some assumptions because don't be scared to provide those assumptions or those suggestions based on what you're assuming, because just you putting it out, putting yourself out there, putting this particular product or promotion out there can get the conversation started. Yeah, maybe when I talked to you 6 months ago, I wanted to go to Alaska, but things have changed, and now I'm yearning for Australia. So no, I don't want your Alaska offer. What do you have in the way of Australia? Because you put it yourself out there and also you showed that you're wanting to help them, then they're going to respond, and it's going to be the interaction that you want. And emails don't take any time. In fact, well, they do take time, right? You are going to spend time creating something. But these one-to-one emails you can knock out pretty fast. Even if you do it in the off hours, you can always schedule send. You and any one-to-one email service provider, Outlook, Google, you can schedule to send that at a reasonable time, one that you feel comfortable sending emails to your clients in. You can do that, but you can build them when you do have the time, and that could be 3 a.m. If you can't sleep, then you could be doing some of this work, and that's okay. It's absolutely fine. But you can still schedule the send so your client isn't getting an email from you at 3:45 in the morning, and they're like, "Oh, wow, something's up with that person." Uh, but I like this focus on rebooking, put together an incentive, and that incentive could be something like if you charge a planning fee, which I hope you do, maybe for your for as an incentive, you could say, "Hey, since you've booked with me before, I'm discounting my planning fee because you were so delightful to work for." See, now I'm riffing a little bit. Maybe I don't love that because I don't love discounting your what your service fees are, but it's something that's within your control to get somebody to get up out of their seat and dance, okay? So just some ideas, but for the most part, I would look for, uh special offers or special opportunities. Maybe it's a brand new ship that you want to include or you want to let them know about. There's lots of things that you might be clued into and you might be over it. You've already heard it so many times that there's a new ship, but your client might not. And use that to showcase your genuine caring for them to suggest products that they would really love. Again, you're just signaling what you do. You're showing, not telling, and, you never know where the conversation's gonna go. So, highly recommend it. Plus, using the schedule allows you to make sure you're hitting different notes. "Oh, I got a TM from uh, from Rocky. Love it. Thank you. And Kristen said, I now have a project for the weekend. Yay. Love it. So using the schedule is just a way you can mix it up however you see fit. Please play with it. But I have so many people that ask me, how can I take what you're saying and do this? Follow this schedule until you want to change it to something that you think works better or you want to try something different. All right. Uh, 9 months. So 9 months into this period of time here, these check-in emails, these re-engaging engagement of inactive clients, share relevant destination spotlight with a "We miss you" message, right? Or "I miss you," right? If it's not from the agency, it's me. "Hey, I miss you. I haven't heard from you in a while. I wanna tell you about, uh, uh, I give me something, wow, Barbados. I don't know why that's my go-to right now. I wanna tell you about Barbados. A friend of mine, is from there, maybe that's your rep that you've worked with, and she was telling me all about this festival that's going on, blah, 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 blah. So it's I miss you. You're being very transparent. You're saying, "Hey, I wanna talk to you. I love talking to you, and I wanna highlight this destination that I think would be perfect for you," right? It's a different message than the exclusive offer one, right? And it's a different message from the casual, that 3-month one, right? Just a little bit different, and now it's really being very in your face. "We miss you." And then 12 months, I love, love, love doing this. Send an anniversary reminder of the last trip with a suggestion for the next adventure. Like that right there, think about it. Somebody would normally be thinking about their next vacation much, much sooner, right? But you haven't heard from them and 12 months is the anniversary, and maybe you have a photo from their trip that they sent you. Maybe incorporate that. So you can do that. Now in your automated email check-ins, those are for, this is for inactive clients, but I love having the same type of approach to your overall email list. Maybe you send newsletters every single month, but then you have some engagement emails that you have peppered in to really get people focused on booking travel with you. Uh, all right, Connie said, "Love the anniversary email." Right? I love it. Oh, I love it when you love it. I love it when you love it. All right. So let's talk about promotion emails. Promotion emails. They're great. You should do them, right? Do you see what I'm doing here? Oops. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm breaking up the different types of emails. So when you're thinking about your whole email universe, you know the difference. You call out a check-in re-engagement email different from your first impression email, different from a promotional email. This right here is going to help you craft emails that are unique, and that allow you that there's some variety so you can learn what works and what doesn't work. If you keep banging on with the same message over and over again and it's not working, isn't that like insanity? You're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Oh, have some variety here. But these are the systems that I would tell, whether it's you as an agency owner and advisor, or I would tell somebody with a cosmetic company, or a spa, something like that. I would have different types of emails and give them their name, their category, so I've got more colors to paint with. I have some variety to work with, that allows me to really uncover what works for my audience and ultimately build my audience too. So, all right, let's tuck in here. So, uh, with promotional emails, the really, really simple. You can build these yourself. If you're a member of World Via Travel Network and you are using Email Plus, we put shared campaigns in there that you can use, and share. A lot of the suppliers in their media toolkits, they have emails that grab and go emails that you can use, or you can send from their platform. Just so you know, I'm not a big fan of sending from the suppliers platform for the marketing emails, I do like those to be within my email service provider, my email platform. And really that's because I I have control over the send and the information for those particular emails. I'm able to design it, and it's consistent with my brand. A lot of the ones that you're sending from their platform, maybe you can add a logo or maybe you can put your name in it, but you can't really customize it. So I'm just not a fan of it, but it would do in a pinch. If you're not sending the emails and they have that capability, I would do it. But, that's just my personal preference there. But you've got so many either you create the email where you write everything in your voice, which is a beautiful thing. You put some images in there and you send it out, or you've got assets that you can get from your supplier sites. So love, love, love that. Uh, if you are these are some things to think about with the promotional emails. Showcase unique experiences. Are you hosting a trip? uh, Promote that, right? Promote that travel with me group that you're hosting. And something that is really cool for your email list, the people who are known to you. So maybe not it wouldn't be the same as necessarily as your social post that you might put up about this, but you could even through your emails, your promotional emails, say something like, "For the I've only opened this special travel experience to my my clients or the people who are in my email list." I don't love saying that, but you know what I'm trying to say. Um, for the first 3 weeks of this, so you get priority access to this. Okay. Same promotional message you would use when you market this out to a larger the public, right? But now you've said the people that are in the know, the people that are getting my emails are going to get advanced access to this. It's such a little status thing that can go pretty far. So it's a way that you can promote that group trip that you've put together, and give a little extra little splash to that. Always use compelling visuals. I love, love, love if you have your own photos of a destination or a travel experience. I love those. Now, not everybody does, and that's okay. But if you are looking at a very polished model image of something that you have a not so polished image, but it's of you and your family, whatever it is, I would hands down always go for the unpolished, really authentically you image. It just trust me, it hits different. It definitely hits different. Uh, this next one, feature client testimonials. So think about this within your promotional emails. You can simply highlight, and I gave an example to the left here where it's just a quote. It's just a quote. And I don't even have somebody's name there, but I've got a book now button. I and the brand name, right? I got the logo there. That's a strong email. So think about the image. Maybe it's Christmas markets and you've got a Christmas markets image that you took or you've got it from a supplier's site. Put that there. It's clearly Christmas markets. You've got a testimonial that goes along with it. And then click the button to inquire or schedule time to talk through your trip. Something like that. That's really powerful, and it's not hard to put that together. This is not a gigantic newsletter that you're putting together, but it's a promotional message, right? And then create urgency. Always, always, always. If this is a promotional message, this is not just a broad stroke brand message. This is a book now, sign up now, make your deposit now, schedule your consultation this week, something like that. You want to put sense of urgency. And you want to, I put it in here, you want to create a little FOMO, fear of missing out. Hurry before I don't like saying it sells out, but hurry before it's gone. Stuff like that. That does make people take action. And it's also something, everything that you're sending, whether it's social media or whether it's through email, everything that you're sending has a it it has it lives beyond the email or the social post because you're potentially planting the story with people who can word of mouth tell this story. So if you've got a hurry message, right? Take action now. That person that received that message might not be interested, but then they're with their friends and family on Sunday and somebody says something, and what do they say? Right? They say, "Oh, you should contact Kristen because I hear it's getting very limited." Right? We all do. It's a telephone game, right? We start making up additional things, right? But because you said hurry, take advantage of it now. I inferred that that meant it was getting very limited. So now I've now word of mouth. I have now communicated. You got to hurry up and take advantage of this, Lucille. You're going to miss out on this. Right. So always think about ways that you can create that sense of urgency. It does make a difference. All right. Let's see here. Going to go back here. So here's another type of email to send, your news and updates. So, sharing that valuable travel information. Now, you guys do this. I know you do this or you know to do this. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, but I'm asking you to think about your email marketing in more of a system and less of a, oh, I need to get a newsletter out. Like, create the system, create this variety because you will have so much more to work with by doing it this way. So, one of the things that you can do for news and updates, like, you might think, "Oh, I don't have any news and updates." Oh, no. Hold on. You do. You have a lots. So, share destination trends. You know it. You hear it. You attend supplier sessions where they tell you, "Oh my goodness, Italy continues to be, so popular. There's so much demand for it. In particular, this particular part of Italy." There you go. There is a trend that you can share, and you can either, promote a particular product or a particular brand, or you can just share what your knowledge is. Italy remains super super popular. You don't want to miss out on what everybody's talking about. Da 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 da. Share that information, and share tips, and a lot of times you can get those tips from supplier partners who are giving those tips freely. Whenever I hear a supplier presenting, I am filling my notebook up with notes because a lot of them are just going through their slide deck and sharing the things that they have to share. But then they'll riff just a little bit. And in that little riff, when they share some of their personal experience or the fact that a friend of theirs did da 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 da, those are the things that I always write down because I can always get the information about the product, the itinerary, whatever. I can always get that later. But these little notes, especially around destinations or travel experiences that I've never done, that's what makes me a more compelling advisor, a salesperson when I have some of those interesting stories that I can weave into what I'm talking about. All right. So, what about adding in industry updates? Oh, if you subscribe to Travel Weekly emails, you're going to find out what's going on in the world that you can incorporate into your communications. You want to take a lot of those things are press releases that are turned into stories within that publication, but take that and then figure out how does that. What is your take on it? Why is this interesting to you? And why do you think it'd be interesting to your clients? And turn that into a story, an email that you can send out to your clients. And that can be a part of your newsletter. Okay. Travel advisories. So keep clients informed. Visa changes, that's been going on, or the requirements before you land. Those are things that somebody will hopefully somebody will figure that out. They'll hear something, they'll be notified, but sometimes they're not, and sometimes they don't even know what they don't know. I guess that's everybody, right? They don't know what they don't know. I think I said that the other way just a second ago. No, I meant they don't know what they don't know. So you sharing travel advisories, things that you know that you want your clients to know. Maybe it's not a standalone email, but it's a part of your newsletter. These are other ways to signal that you are an expert. You're plugged in. They probably aren't plugged in unless it's made it to CNN. They haven't they're not necessarily gonna get that information, but you can deliver that message. And then of course there's always the special deals, those flash sales, those you've got 2 weeks to make a decision type of message. Those limited time offers, those things are very, very powerful, and I would consider those to be a part of your news and updates versus something that would be a part of your more broader um, promotional messages, although they can kinda go back and forth, but the idea is that you're being very timely with your news and updates. You're being very timely, and you're getting in front of them. Alright, let's see here. Now oops, why does that do that? Best practices for your content and timing. So here I'm gonna give you some things, I'd love for you to always tweak your systems. I want you to look at what happened. Even if you sent 3 broadcast emails, who opened it? How many opened it? Did everybody open it? Knowing that information, knowledge is power, and you can only get better if you can actually see what worked and what didn't work. So I wanted to give you a few things that I think would be really helpful. So open rate is the percentage of emails that were opened versus how many were sent. Okay, excuse me. So how many were sent, then how many were open, that gives you your percentage. And here is just a number for you to start with. 20% is the average when emails are sent during the week between 9 and 11 a.m. You you start sending emails and figure out what time and day works best for you, but you're going to want to look at an open rate after your email has sent. Every email service provider has a dashboard so you can see how many people received the email, how many people opened them. Um, so you want to be north of 20%. Really good emails I've seen have been a 30% open rate. So between 20 and 30, you're in a good place. Less than that, your subject line was probably weak and did not, I say weak, that was pretty harsh, but the subject line didn't inspire them to open. That's kind of, there's a whole triage that I do when I'm looking at emails that are underperforming in terms of open rate, but that's always where I start. So you want to looking at more than 20%, and many of you I've heard are north of 30% because you have a very tight email list, mainly consisting of the previous clients. So previous clients will generally open your emails more than people who have just subscribed to receive your emails. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. Now, just something to be aware of is about 47% of emails are open via a mobile device, mainly the phone, but also tablets. But the phone is the one that I wanna hone in on because the phone, when you're building your emails, some people get really complex with their design and don't see all email service providers provide a preview of what it looks like on a desktop and then also what it looks like on a mobile device. Make sure whatever email you put together, you're checking that mobile device view because that is going to tell you, does it look good? Is the picture too tall? Is the block of color, does it take too long to get through before you get to the copy? Think about how you open emails, and if you're having to scroll through all these images and things like that, they're not sizing properly to get to the copy in the email. That's not a good experience. So you want to look at that and evaluate: does this feel good on a mobile device? That's the same thing with websites. You're always doing that. And then for emails with that more personalized subject line, they tend to get higher clicks. So you'll hear an email when you're talking about email marketing, the click through rate. So the number of emails that were opened, how many clicked through to take action, utilizing that call to action, whether it was to fill out an inquiry, schedule a consultation, or download something, right? It's getting them to click, that's the call to action, right? That's the thing that you're trying to get them to do when you open an email. So what this stat is telling you that you are most likely to see a better click through when you've got a more personalized subject line. Keep it short because I'm sure you've all seen with your subject lines in your email when they get truncated. So you only have about 40 characters to get somebody to open this email. They can be longer, but 40 is what you're looking for. So those first 40 characters, what do they signal and do they compel me to open that email and ultimately take action and click through to something else? So just I get asked it all the time, what is good? What is good? So I'm just giving you averages, but once you are measuring these things and you're looking at how many mobile opens, things like that, your knowledge is going to inform your decisions in the future, okay? So knowing the information as it stands today and as you grow, super super powerful. All right. And lastly, here's your action plan should you choose to accept it. Okay. I want you to just, and it doesn't have to be fancy. I just want you to write it down or type it up. Create a 4-week email schedule. Commit to sending. Okay. This is just for the next month. Commit to sending one email a week. One email a week. Can you do it? I know you can do it. Will you do it? Commit to me that you'll do it. Um, yeah, just mess with those different types. Do a newsletter, do a promotional one, do a check-in message. Just work out a schedule that you can commit to and let that fly and see what you find out by the end of the 4 weeks. So what worked, what felt good, what was easy to do, what was harder to do, okay? Put that out there, make that schedule, commit to that. And set up, keep it personal with your CRM, however you're keeping track of your clients. Set up reminders for birthdays or booking anniversaries for that 1 year anniversary, or of course post trip follow-ups, which is so important. Create those to-dos, whether you're using a CRM system, you're using reminders app, or you just have a big calendar that you just write in things that you want to do throughout the course of the year. Those little, even a happy birthday message, it can be extremely simple, but it can have a massive impact. So don't always think in these giant broad strokes of promotional emails and newsletters. Those personal touches go a long, long way. And of course, like I said, track, maximize, optimize. Yeah, take what you know and turn that into power. Okay. All right. It looks like we've got a few questions here. While I'm going to answer some questions, I would love to know, is there something that we talked about today that the next 7 days, you're going to take action on? Now, I want everybody to take action on the 4-week schedule. Please do that. But is there something that I hit on that, whether it was what I specifically called out or it made you think of something else? Drop that in the chat wherever you are watching this, because I'd love to share that with the rest of the audience. That becomes extremely helpful. All right. So Kristen said, let's see. And if you guys can't see it on the screen, it's a little bit longer, so I'm going to read it. I'm curious, Joshua, on your thoughts about automatically subscribing people to a newsletter on instances that aren't specific to a lead magnet. For example, if someone fills out any inquiry form. I love this question because my thoughts are this. You get an email address, you want to be able to send emails to to them. So when you have with a lead magnet, that's a little different. That you're putting that in that you're gonna receive inbox goodness from me. But for other forms that you might have on your website, have a little, I don't want to say disclaimer in a negative tone, but have something on the bottom of that form that says, by submitting this form, you're agreeing to receive communications from my business, and you can opt out at any time. Okay. So I would make sure that that is very clear on any forms where you're collecting email addresses where you might contact them. Now, what I would never do is have a client who maybe didn't go through that path to get to me. But eventually I get their email address to send confirmations and things like that, the transactional emails. I would not scrape that email address and put that into my newsletter. I would make sure that there was something like I just described, where it's like, when you submit this form, you're going to receive communications from my agency. That to me, it's normal. People are used to it, so it's not going to be like the shock. But the email I give you for transacting our business together might not be the one that I want to get, those types of emails. So what I do is I use my work email for any time I'm traveling. I want to make sure that that email is coming to my work email, but I don't wanna get promotional emails from them. Now, I could do those one-on-one outreaches. I could do that because that's something we've been communicating that way, so my reach out, my check-in emails, that's acceptable, but my newsletters, no. I hope that helps. Um, and then Kristen's follow-up was, "Or should people always willingly opt in?" Yes. Just put it in their hands, and people will. Even if I'm filling out an inquiry form, um, about a specific trip, it's not new for me to see that language, but that by clicking this, I'm agreeing to receive communications from this agency. I'm used to that. That happens everywhere. Everywhere I shop online, I'm very, very familiar with it. But you starting to send multiple emails, promotional emails through my work email, like I said, when I didn't sign up for it, that would not feel good. And Kristen said, "I was curious about adding a disclaimer. Good to know." And Kristen, I haven't done one in a while. There's one that's standardized across our different web platforms, but that's a perfect item to put into an AI tool like Avia and say, "Hey, write an email sign up disclaimer for people filling out a form that makes them excited to submit the form," something like that. See, get some creative language around that. I think that would be a great thing to do. All right, guys. It is coming to the end of our time. I hope you had a good time. I had a great time. For those of you who were at the ASTA Travel Advisor Conference this week, I had such a blast with you. I hope you enjoyed my sessions. I really did. I had a lot of fun there with you guys, and I love seeing all the social posts that you guys have been posting. I love that you're going live. I love that you're creating reels. I think it's brilliant. You made this guy here very, very happy. Just for those of you who didn't go, we talked a lot about signaling that, so you would be known for travel through social media. And one of the things we talked about was, just hit record, get that content out there. And I'm telling you, these advisors answer the call because I'm seeing it on social media. Love it, love it, love it. Keep it coming. And more to come. More to come on that topic. So please, most Saturdays here at noon Eastern time, you can always find the upcoming episodes on World Via Travel Network YouTube. So just search for that. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Lots of content that we air there. But the travel marketeering session, that's where you can schedule. You can get the notifications for when I am going to be live in June. We're going to be bringing some travel agency owners into the conversation. And I'm going to be doing some interviews with them. Of course, talking about travel marketeering. Of course, I'm going to bring you people who I admire and I can see doing some really good work. So look forward to that coming up very, very soon. Yeah. Let's see here. I've got some chats going on here. Let's see. Connie said, "Thank you for doing these marketeering trainings. I'm always getting so many golden nuggets." Connie, thank you. That's what I do this for. This used to be at 8:30 in the morning on Saturdays, but people were fussing. They wanted it to be later. So now it's smack dab in the middle of the day. But that right there makes it worth it. So very, very happy. And Robin said, "Always a good time. So sad that I missed ASTA. Looked awesome. Going to regional uh, one in Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, sorry. Would love to see you there. I would love to be there. I was not invited there, but I would love to be there, and I'm glad that you're going. Asta is a fantastic organization, and Mimi, I always enjoy your sessions. Thank you for taking the time for us. Oh, please, it is my pleasure. All right, guys, if you have not yet done it, make sure you go and join our private Facebook group. And I'm going to drop down my little socials if you want to follow me there. Like I said, I will be back. We've got more topics to cover. And it's we've got a lot. This is going to be a very action packed summer. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're committed to your business. And remember, there is only one you in the galaxy. You are uniquely you, and I 100% believe in you. So show up and, be the travel marketeer that you are. All right. Have a lovely weekend. I will see you real soon. Take care. Bye bye.